Hello, and welcome to Meet the Author, a show where we explore the world through the imagination of talented writers. On this show, we will talk with authors from Laurel, Prince George's County, the DMV, and beyond. Today, our guest author is Mr. Cortland Jones. We are very excited to have him with us today since he is a very busy man. To begin, he is a tenured educator in our very own Prince George's County school system. He provides empowerment coaching and consulting services to the community. He is a very experienced grant writer who has received numerous grants to provide educational services to local children. He has founded a nonprofit organization to provide tutoring services, and to top it all off, he's here with us today so we can add published author to his list of many accomplishments. Hi, Cortland, and welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Christine?
Good. So we just want to start off talking a little bit about you and the things that you do.
Yes.
So like I mentioned, you're an educator. Tell us how long you've been an educator in PG County school system and what courses you teach.
Sure. October 1992, that is my anniversary year and month. So this will be 25 years this year serving as an educator in Prince George's County.
Okay. What type of subjects and things?
Art and graphic design. But I spent 10 years outside the classroom doing peer mediation, conflict resolution, middle and high school.
So which one do you enjoy more?
Both, actually. I would say the 10 years I spent outside the classroom were like a dream come true as far as just working directly with the kids and helping them solve, you know, the personal challenges that they were facing, as well as teaching them about resolving conflicts, dealing with subjects like friendship, you know, how to deal with your peers when it comes to bullying, talking out and negotiating, not just conflicts with your peers, but also with their parents, things of that nature. So that was very rewarding as an educator, being able to help youth solve real world application challenges that they were facing.
No, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
So did that help you get into the coaching and consulting services?
Definitely. I think the years that I spent outside the classroom influenced a lot what I desired to do once I kind of looked at what I wanted to do ending my years as an educator, knowing that I'm about 4 years now away from being able to officially retire. I kind of looked at some of the things that I was doing both with youth and just as a professional and what I would like to do once I no longer became an educator. So consulting, being a coach, and some of the things I'm doing now kind of led in that direction.
Okay, so are the topics similar, or what other topics do you discuss during your coaching and consulting?
So through my services, I offer for those interested in being an aspiring author, entrepreneur, those who are co-parents, who need support in that regard, educators who are looking for mentors so they can do better with classroom management, as well as anyone who has personal goals that they want to achieve either through time management, spiritual growth and development. Those are the specific things that I focus on with my coaching and consulting service.
Right. Sounds cool. Now, how long have you been doing it?
This will be 4 years now. When my book was published in February 2014, I launched my business in August of that same year. And so now it's been 4 years.
Okay, sounds good. And it's pretty consistent. It keeps you busy.
Oh yeah, I've been blessed. I have 3 clients, former clients, who have actually published books. I have 2 clients currently that I'm working with to, you know, work on their manuscripts. So I've been successful in that regard, and I'm excited about now branching out and helping educators with the classroom management piece, as well as individuals who have an interest in starting their own businesses, either through nonprofit or for-profit.
Okay, sounds good. So that takes us into the grant writing piece that I mentioned before. So you've written numerous grants. Can you share with us about some of the grants that you've received funding for?
Sure. So the Greenbelt Community Foundation in Greenbelt, Maryland has been the most significant provider of the grants that I've written. One specifically was for the Art Literature Leadership Initiative that I ran out of Greenbelt Middle School for the last 4 years. That grant was funded about $5,000 total, and what it allowed me to do was to implement different initiatives for youth for student service, teaching kids how to earn student service hours in their community by helping younger kids through literacy, reading, academic enrichment. We targeted the local elementary school so they could go over and serve and help them. And then also we established a tutoring program through that. Right. So that was the second grant we received recently. So now we created an environment within the community that kids can now also serve as tutors. So they are now helping the students in the community get better academically.
That's a good idea too, to have the kids, help the older kids help the younger kids.
Becoming positive contributors to themselves, home, school, and community. That was the major focus of the Art, Literature, Leadership Initiative that eventually turned into the tutoring program.
Okay, sounds good. Glad that's working out.
Yes.
Okay, now about the grant writing process, now I know that's not an easy task at all. So can you share with us a little bit about the process, how it takes to write a grant or what it takes to write a grant?
So think about a lot of hours devoted to research. So you have to be committed to not just the idea of what you want the money for, but making sure that the idea is in alignment with what the grant is looking for.
Okay.
Because different grants have different expectations for the person who's pursuing the funding. So in particular, the grant may say, we're going to give you this amount of money, but it has to be directed towards a certain goal that they're trying to accomplish. So making sure that what you're trying to do with the grant funding is aligned with what their goals are.
Right.
Another thing is also being able to communicate clearly what it is you're trying to accomplish with the money when you receive it.
Okay.
Being able to show the specific steps, not only in what you're trying to accomplish, but the day-to-day or the month-to-month execution of those short-term goals that's going to lead to the final outcome, because you're going to have to be able to show how you accomplish those goals when it's all said and done.
Right. So I guess that's taking some time to build up that knowledge to be able to do that. So hats off to you for that, because it sounds like a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we also mentioned that you have a nonprofit organization, The Better Place.
Yes.
Hey, can you tell us about that?
Sure, The Better Place. So The Better Place, like the book, is inspired from my own personal journey. At the time I was going through separation and divorce, I had two colleagues come to me and they were talking about an interest we all shared, a common interest in wanting to support and serve families through our both professional work as educators in the educational system, as well as through another nonprofit that two of us had worked in previously. So the conversation kind of started with this idea of serving families in 2005, but then we put it on the table for a minute, and then I had this inspiration. I wanted to get to the better place. That was my own personal journey going through separation and divorce. I wanted to get to my own better place. So about, I would say 2 years ago, we came back to the table with the discussion because I had the inspiration then of how we could move forward with the program. And my colleague, President Shauna King, she decided, hey, we're going to go with The Better Place, because I was explaining to her at the time that was the focal point of what drove me to move from where I was going through separation and divorce that led to the book. So The Better Place really is the name of my journey from where I was in 2005 to where I am now.
Okay. Cool. So it seems like, the things that you've been through in your life help you with not only writing the book, but with your organization. I guess it all builds up and you get to, a place where you use what you've been through to help others.
Yeah, a world where youth and families thrive is our vision. And our mission basically is targeting youth, family, and schools and helping each of them identify individually where they're trying to get to and how, as an organization, we can help them move towards that better place. So it doesn't matter where we are at the time. If we have a vision, if we have a belief and a mission, we can accomplish the goals that we desire, and that's what we're trying to project to the individuals and the communities that we serve.
Sounds really good. Again, wish you much success with that also. Keep us up to date on what's going on. We love to, share your information.
Sure, thank you.
So speaking of that, Of course, you're an author, and like I said, you use the things that have happened in your life to inspire your book. You have one book written, and you have 2 more on the way. The first book is Out of the Darkness, A Journey into the Marvelous Light. So what we're going to do now is just take a brief look at your video promo for your book, okay?
Sure.
All right.
So my name is Cortland Jones, author, educator, entrepreneur. Published my book in 2014 February, which is actually my birth month. It's a journey into the marvelous light. It is my personal testimony of my understanding of salvation and faith in Jesus Christ, explaining God's plan, purpose, fulfillment, power, and glory in salvation. The purpose for writing the book in my own faith walk, in my own journey. I knew who Jesus Christ was, meaning I had an understanding of who he was as God's son. And the motivation was to offer coaching to help individuals who were ready to move towards their own personal better place. My desire was to do the same thing in helping them as I experienced in my own life.
All right, so tell us briefly what your book is about, the Out of the Darkness. Tell us what that is all about.
So as I had mentioned previously, going through separation and divorce, it was an opportunity for me to move forward from where I was, because I was definitely feeling like I had no purpose to, as a Christian, the shame of going through that real dark time, difficult time. I didn't think I was capable of sharing the message of Christ anymore. And I was actually reading a book, and it was about the woman with the issue of blood. It was a devotional, and it was written by Max Lucado. And at the time I was reading it, I was really in a difficult, dark place, depressed, you know, and just the way he wrote about her journey, I just felt like that's what I want to do. If I'm going to write, that's how I want to write. I remember saying that.
Right.
And I haven't stopped writing since then. So that was back in 2005. And my desire was to uplift other Christians, just as I was going through a very difficult, dark time. Right. I wanted those who were curious about the subject of salvation, but may not have understood it fully. I was targeting that group, as well as individuals who just wanted to grow. They were at a point in their faith walk where they wanted to grow, learn more about what it meant to be a Christian, what it meant, what the Bible was teaching about being a child of God, and how you could not only survive in your situations, but thrive in it. How can I move away from this mental, emotional blanket of shame and guilt and move to another place where I feel alive and free? And so it took 9 years to write the book, and it was published in 2014. Okay. So at the same time, I was going through this process of deliberating about just moving forward. I had this motivation, a goal that I wanted to accomplish, and I think that's what really helped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Now, something interesting that happened with this book. So your publisher went out of business.
Yes.
Explain like how that felt for you and how that worked with the book process in itself.
It was definitely disappointing, because when you're pursuing, you know, life goals, right, like being an author or publisher or you know, starting a business, you're not anticipating things not working out.
Exactly.
You're hoping everything will work out in the way you see it, envision it, and things of that nature. However, I still have books, so it wasn't like I didn't have access to still promote and market my books, but it was like, once these books run out, you know, where do you go? So I would say the biggest thing for me was accepting that as part of the journey. When I decided to become an author, I had made up my mind. I was in it for the long haul. I was committed to the process. It didn't matter what was going to take place, but I was going to make sure I did what I needed to do to move forward and succeed. Right. So when it happened, knowing that I still had books and I still had access, it was just waiting for the right opportunity to meet the right publisher so then I could move forward. So It was a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to be where I am today, to be interviewed here, and also to have the opportunity to work with J Media Publishing. So in that regard, I feel like it was just a stepping stone to something greater. So one thing I've learned in this whole process of being an author is you just have to accept everything that comes with the journey.
Right.
And if you could just stay open-minded and positive-minded with regard to that, I think that would be the easiest way to navigate it, I would say. But then also as a Christian, just understanding the whole, what the teaching of faith is all about. Like those kind of disappointments, like you can't say you're walking by faith without having those type of challenges to kind of hold you accountable to what you're saying you're believing in. And so if God truly is in control, then these are really just opportunities for me to exercise my faith.
Right. We can use that in many different areas of our lives, right?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously you've gotten past the, publishing situation. You have a new publisher. So you're moving forward and working on other projects. So tell us about your upcoming projects.
So I have a book coming out this year, which I'm excited about. It's an opportunity for me to give back to the profession that I've invested myself in these last 25 years. Apples of Grace, 31 Days of Inspiration for the Educator. It's my kind of like homage to teachers.
Okay.
And I call it insights, information, and inspiration to arm and empower educators in their role to empower the youth in their classroom. When you look at the reality that someone is suggesting that we carry firearms in the classroom,
just thinking about that.
The things that I just feel like right now teachers are being asked to do more than probably what they're required to do or what they're capable of doing. So there's more expectation, more burden, more demand, but no one's being considerate of the educator. And I respect the fact that children have need as it relates to trauma, but is anyone recognizing how educators are being impacted mentally and emotionally by everything that's going on? So that's my service to the educators, to provide a book that inspires them, that motivates them, that keeps them in these times when we're struggling with burnout, when we're feeling overwhelmed. I'm providing a resource that can inspire and motivate them in their role as an educator.
Okay, sounds good. I definitely look forward to that. And like you mentioned, with all that's going on right now, it's going to really come in handy, give the teacher something to hold on to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we'd like you to now, you can share your contact information, where we can reach you, how we can get your books.
Sure. So I have a website now, which I'm excited about, cortlandjones.com, www.cortlandjones.com. And you can also reach me by email at info@cortlandjones.com.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today. Like I said, I appreciate the services that you provide in the community. Wish you much luck in the future.
Thank you.
All right.
It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Out of the Darkness, A Journey into the Marvelous Light uses biblical references and the author's personal testimony to shed light on this vast notion of darkness. The author breaks it down and distinguishes between circumstantial darkness and spiritual darkness. He parallels his life with stories from the Bible to show how God can take gloomy situations and circumstances to lead open hearts into a personal relationship with Him. With chapters subtitled God's Purpose, God's Fulfillment, and God's Power, this book is a good resource that you can read in pieces anytime you want to find that much needed encouragement or motivation to help you get through difficult situations. We want to thank Mr. Jones for joining us today and sharing not only his book and his upcoming projects, but the many other avenues he uses to help families and children. We can certainly appreciate those who give back to the community. If you are an author and would like to be featured on our program, you can send an email to cmjohnson@laurel.md.us or call 301-725-5300, extension 2110. We would love to have you on the show. I'm Christine Johnson, reminding you to open a book and let it take you on your next adventure.